Pastor Chooks Obina Ogoye. Pastor Chooks is the lead pastor of Resurrection Life Church in Johannesburg. He is a passionate teacher and preacher of the Word of God and has been blessed by God with the uncanny ability and gift to explain and unpack deep and complex spiritual truths in very easy to understand and apply formats. Pastor Chooks has been involved and active in marketplace ministries. He's an entrepreneur and business consultant with an avid passion for raising other entrepreneurs and business leaders. He has taught and facilitated many leadership and entrepreneurship courses and seminars. He is the host of broadcast programs on Facebook, YouTube, and several podcast channels. Living the Life with Pastor Chooks, The Amazing Power of Woman. Thank God it's Friday.
Hey, good evening. It's another Friday, so we say, thank God it's Friday. Thank God it's Friday. We are on for another beautiful session where we learn relationship wisdom. On Fridays, we switch to relationship wisdom. All kinds of relationship, marriage relationships, single relationships, brother-sister relationships, work relationships, all types. And reason being that we understand that life is all about relationship. The single most important factor to success apart from God is relationships. And that's why everybody needs to master relationships. You need to understand how they work, how to make them, go in a certain way, how to avoid them going in other ways. You need to understand the science of relationships and how to work with people and so on and so forth. So that's what Friday is all about. And tonight we're back for the Wisdom for Single Ladies series. We have been sharing wisdom for single ladies. I think I've done part 1, part 2, part 3. Today is part 4. Wisdom for Single Ladies, part 4. That's where we are today. And today, I want to specifically deal with how to spot an immature man. This is wisdom for single ladies. How to spot a mommy's boy, an immature person. There are many names for an immature man. Somebody even calls an immature man a man-child. He's a man, but he's a child inside. We want to see the signs. Because, see, the problem with an immature man is that he is not able to stand up to the things he's supposed to do as a man. See, relationships, romantic relationships now, are not for boys and girls. They are for men and women. Yes, they are for men and women. So if a man has refused to grow up, he may be 30 years old, he may be 40 years old, he may be 25 years old. And if he has refused to grow up, you are carrying a burden. In fact, there are even 50-year-old teenagers. 50-year-old teenagers. They are chronologically aged, but mentally immature, emotionally immature, psychologically babies. You can't have that kind of a person in a relationship because it will not work. You will always be frustrated. You will always be let down. You will find that, he leaves his mother, so you become his mother. He leaves the first mother, you become his second mother. You don't want that. You want a man who can lead the relationship, a man who can lead the family, a man who can stand up to his responsibilities and be a man in the relationship. You don't want to be the man in the relationship and the woman in the relationship. It becomes too tiring. It becomes too draining. So I want to give you signs so that you can spot a what do you call it? A mommy's boy, an immature man early. You can spot it. I think after this one, I'm going to do another one to show you the signs of an insecure man, because those are the kind of men you want to avoid. So if you have wisdom, you are able to, when you see it, you say, that's it. I'm out. I'm out. Pass. I jump and pass. You are never caught with such people, because starting a relationship with them ends nowhere. You know, if you are ready to go all the way to the altar, you want to be sure of this person, because not all men can take you to the altar. Boys can't take you to the altar. If you go to the altar with a boy, you're going to regret it for the rest of your life, because that marriage is not going to work. Marriage was designed for men and for women. So a boy has to grow into a man. A girl has to grow into a woman for a relationship to work. A man trying to date a girl, and when I mean a girl, I'm talking about an immature girl. He will have his own issues as well. So, but now for today's series, or for today's episode, we are dealing with wisdom for single ladies. So here we come. I want to give you 10 signs. 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 signs of an immature man, a man who is not ready for a relationship. Number 1, he's addicted to video games. He's addicted to video games. Now, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with people playing video games at all ages, you know. There's nothing wrong with it. Men, a lot of guys find it, you know, a nice pastime, and they are playing FIFA or Call of Duty or you know, all these games that are out there. There's nothing wrong. So I'm not saying if you see a man playing a video game, then it's a problem. However, there is that man who never grew up. He's addicted to video games, that he actually prioritizes the games over anything and everything, including you, including spending time with you. He's more passionate about the game than a relationship with you. You know, you can schedule something, an event, a social function, an outing with him, and he can cancel because he is still in a game. He can even forget, you know, I'll meet you up in the restaurant at 6 p.m. And then you arrive at the restaurant at 5 minutes to 6 and you sit waiting for him. It's 6:15, you phone him, and he's not even picking his phone because he's busy with a game. It takes him another 45 minutes to see that his phone is ringing because he had put it on silent because he doesn't want a distraction and he's been on his game. Now he speaks at 7:15. You'll be waiting there now for 1 hour, 15 minutes. And he tells you, oh my God, I forgot. And you know, his house is about 30 minutes from the place. So before he arrives there, it's 8 o'clock. If he ever, you know, agrees to step out and stand from the couch and come to the, you know, he frustrates every effort to make the relationship move forward because he is addicted to video games. When you see that sign, this is when you know that this is not going to lead anywhere. This is where you know that this is not going to lead anywhere. And by the way, you know, when you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the signs I'm about to give, that's when you know that I should not continue hoping that this guy is going to change overnight and become a man overnight. Manhood is not arrived at overnight. A boy does not wake up one day and become a man. Manhood is something you grow into. You grow into it. It takes a while. It takes 10 years, you know, of becoming a teenager and then becoming a man. It takes time. So if you see more than a few of these signs that I'm about to give you tonight, just know that this guy is not going to change in 1 month. So it's wisdom to avoid, you know, expecting anything solid, anything concrete coming out of this relationship. But you see, there are women who don't have wisdom. So because these signs can be there and glaring at you, and you ignore them, and hoping that something will happen, hoping that they will change, hoping that they will come around. And then you find out that you've dated him for 5 years and nothing is coming out of the relationship. Nothing is coming out of the relationship. And you are now hurt because you were 25 when you started dating him. Now you're 30. And you know the problem with the woman, you know, when you were 25 and you were dating him, girls who were 17 and 18 were not available, as it were. But at 5 years to 17, they've come into the same market in the same pool as you. So, and you know, a lot of men tend to be more interested in the younger girls. So you find out that the competition is even higher because you missed these obvious signs and you carried on in a cul-de-sac. You carried on in a blind spot. It's not going anywhere. So you want to, you know, like they say, open your eyes, shine your eyes. When you see these signs, shine your eyes and know that. All right, number 2. So number 1 is that he's addicted to video games, prioritizes video games over anything and everything. Number 2 is that his mom is on speed dial. He's always, you know, mommy said this, mommy said that, mommy said this, mommy said that. There's nothing wrong with a guy being close to his mother. A lot of men are close to their mother. I was close to my mother. There's nothing wrong with it. However, a man has to grow up and come to a point where they are not, you know, they want to make a decision, they have to consult their mother first. You know, should I buy this shirt? They have to call their mother. Should I, you know, do this one? Should I watch this movie? I have to call their mother. Should I, you know, there are men who their mother is still washing their clothes, doing their laundry, cooking for them, making decisions for them. I once saw a video of a guy who got married. And on the wedding night, he didn't know how to do the do. And he was phoning his mother to come and help him do the do with his new wife. It was a comedy, but it was crazy. You know, he didn't know. And all his life, it's always his mother. His mother taught him in grade school. His mother taught him in primary school. His mother helped him when he was in high school. His mother helped him when he was in university to fill up his first job application. His mother filled it. The last promotion he's got, his mother, everything his mother. Even the decision to marry you was made by his mother, not you, not him. So you want to be careful. You know, the problem with that kind of a man is that you will clash with that mother. You will clash so hard with that mother. And some of those mothers feel like, you know, maybe because all the children have grown up and they have an emptiness, they feel lonely, and their son is the only thing that gives them a reason for waking up, because they have to cook for him. They have to go to the shops for him. They have to wash his clothes. They have to iron the clothes. And the boy is happy. It's his mother. He looks after his mother. So now the mother becomes the queen of the house. And you coming in as an external third-party person, you are seen as an intruder. The mother will even say it to him. You are choosing this girl over me. And after all I do, you cook for him. If you marry that kind of a man, you cook for him, his mother cooks for him. You eat his mother's food and leave yours. So you will struggle seriously. If that guy ever comes around to issue of getting married and moving forward with the relationship, you will struggle seriously with the strings. You know, he has apron strings from his mother's apron tied around him. You know, so when you see over dependence on his mother, you know, you got to, that's a red flag. That's a red flag. So you have to watch out, you know. And again, I'm not saying that a man should not look after his mother. I'm not saying a man being close to his mother is a bad sign. Please understand what I'm saying. I'm saying if he is overtly dependent and attached to his mother is a bad sign. Because everything he has to check with his mother. You propose, okay, let's go see this movie. He said, no, let me ask my mother. No, let's go there. Let me ask my mother. You know, let's buy this thing. Let me ask my mother. And everything has to check with his mother. You don't want that mommy's boy. All right. Number 3, this guy hates work. Signs of an immature man. Number 3, he hates work or having a stable job. You don't want that kind of man who is always changing jobs, like he changes shirts, you know, like he changes shirts or changes underwear. He just, you know, this month he's on this job, next month he's moved. He's unstable. And when we check it, why is he changing jobs? Oh, I don't like what they said to me there. He resigns. He may be a talented person, he may be a skilled person, but the immaturity not to handle the pressures of life, not to handle the issues of life. So he will throw in the towel and then he will quickly get another job because he's skilled. He will throw in the towel after 6 months and quickly gets another job. When you see that sign, or that this is for somebody who is, getting jobs and quitting on them, let me tell you the problem with that guy. He will quit on you too. He will quit on the relationship because he has a low threshold. He can't endure anything. He can't endure an inconvenience. He can't endure a discomfort. He can't endure a disagreement. He can't endure a conflict. So he doesn't know how to handle it. So his way of handling it is throwing the towel and escape. Throwing the towel and quit. So when you see that pattern, be careful because it's going to repeat the same thing with you. It's going to repeat the same thing with you. And there are other guys. Their own is not that they are serial job hoppers. Their own is that they don't even feel they need to work. And this usually happens when maybe there's money. The mother has money and the mother is giving him pocket money. And the mother says, oh, my last son, oh, my only son, oh, my, first child. The mother, if they have means, they have, something that they keep giving him, he will never grow up. He's driving a big car, but he didn't work for it. He's living in a big house, but he didn't pay for it, and he's not paying for it. His father's wealth is what he's enjoying. So he doesn't see the reason to be responsible to work. I've heard somebody say, my mother has money, my father has money. What am I working for? What am I working for? See, that mindset will not allow him to build a relationship that lasts properly. That mindset. So don't be deceived when you see a guy driving a big car. Did he earn the money to buy this car? Did he earn that status? Or it was conferred on him by family privileges? Yes. And you may be, and a lot of girls, especially the gold digger ones, you see big car, you see all these luxury items, and he can even splash a few gifts on you, expensive, luxurious things on you, and you get carried away. You get carried away because he's taking you to fancy restaurants because his father, gives him 2 million rand a month. And you now think, he's a matured person. No, he's not. He's not. He's not going to be able to make some decisions. He's not going to be able to put his feet down because he just cannot work. And I want you to understand this, that God's order for marriage is that the man must find work, his God-given assignment, and be plugged into it before he starts saying hello to any girl. So if that order is not followed, it's a recipe for disaster. The person is an accident waiting to happen. All right, so that's number 3. Number 4, this guy has a disease. And this disease is chronic. It's a chronic disease. What is the name of this disease? I call it excusitis. He is always making excuses. He is chronically afflicted with excusitis. Like we saw Adam. Adam had excusitis in the Garden of Eden when they ate the fruit that God said they mustn't eat. And when God was asking him, what happened here? Instead of him to take responsibility, he made an excuse. The woman you gave me, the woman you, God, gave me. See, so it was not my fault. It's you gave me this woman. See, the number 1 rule for success, whether it's success in a relationship, success in life, is the ability and the capacity to take responsibility. Ability and the capacity to take responsibility. In fact, that's the definition of a man. A man is not somebody who has male organs. No. A man is someone who is able to take responsibility and hold on to the responsibility and deliver on the demands of responsibility. That's what it means to be a matured man. An immature man cannot take responsibility. He can't take responsibility for his actions. And when you question him or confront him on it, he makes excuses. Why are you late for the appointment? It was the train. It was the taxi. He comes up with all kinds of excuses. Why didn't you, pay the money that you said you were going to pay when you said you were going to pay it? He comes up with excuses are never lacking in his mouth. So when you see someone who is chronically afflicted with excusitis, it's a bad sign. It's a red flag. You need to stay away from such a person. Otherwise, you are going to become a victim of his excusitis. Yes, you are not going to be able to hold him responsible for anything because he doesn't, in fact, it's never his fault. It's everybody else's fault. It's never his fault. And guess what? You are going to be the one that will be carrying all that load on your head because it's your fault that the marriage didn't work. It's your fault that we don't have a child. It's your fault that the electricity is not paid. It's your fault that the house rent is not paid. It's your fault that there's no food in the house. He never takes responsibility for anything. He pushes it away, makes excuses. So when you see someone who is chronically addicted to making excuses, that's a sign of an immature man. Number 5, he doesn't like to talk about the future. He has no future. Ask him what he sees himself to be in 10 years from now. He has no clear idea. He has no clear idea. So anytime you want to talk about the future, he would rather postpone it. He would rather push it aside. Let's talk about it tomorrow. Let's talk about it another time. Today is not a good time. Now, why does he run away from talking about the future? He has none. He has none. So if you come into his life, you have joined a train going nowhere. You've joined a packed train. Packed is packed, permanently packed. The engine has been taken out. This train is not going anywhere, meaning that your life stops. See, it's something I teach in relationship seminars. Once you agree to a man, you agree to everything the man subscribes to. Once you agree to follow a man, once you agree to marry a man, you have agreed to subscribe to everything he subscribed to. If you subscribe to laziness, you've just agreed to subscribe to it. If you subscribe to stupidity, you have just agreed to subscribe to it. If you subscribe to foolishness, you have just agreed to subscribe to it. So whatever he subscribed to, the moment you say yes to him, you have become a party to that subscription. So if he's lazy, you are there. If he's visionless and futureless, you've just plugged yourself to visionlessness and to futurelessness. Why? Single lady, be wise. Let me say it again. Single lady, be wise. Open your eyes. If he doesn't, find it comfortable to talk about the future, it is because there's none. Don't be fooled. There's none. See, a woman is coming into the life of a man to be a helper. You were designed by God to be a helper. A helper means that the man has a work, has an assignment that you are coming to help with. So if he doesn't have a vision, you're going to be useless in that relationship. And you're going to be very frustrated in that relationship. And especially if you have a vision for your life, then it's going to be a problem. Because you are locked in with a man who has no vision. Right. Number 6. He is very, very incompetent and inexperienced with house chores. That usually comes with somebody who's over protected by the mother. So he doesn't know how to do anything. He can't cook. He can't even boil an egg. He's so useless. You ask him to do something in the kitchen, he can almost set the kitchen on fire. He's so useless around the house. Let me tell you the problem with that person. You will end up doing everything. And all he does is to scatter what you are putting together, is to dirty what you are cleaning, is to mess around what you are arranging. Because he just cannot help you around the house. He can't do anything. You don't want that kind of man. You don't want that kind of man. He's useless. He can't even boil water. He can't put on a gas stove. God have mercy. Number 7. He throws tantrums anytime and every time he cannot have his way. This is a tantrum machine. He's a tantrum machine. He knows how to throw tantrums left, right, and center. If he can't have his way, he throws his toys out of the court. He must have his way. It's either his way or the highway, or we raise hell here. A man who is immature will always throw tantrums. And these are red flags. These are bad signs. Once you see them begin to know that, you see a couple of them, just know that this thing will never lead to anything positive. At the end of the day, you're going to be heartbroken. At the end of the day, you're going to be disappointed. You're going to be jolted and jilted. You don't want that. All right. Number 8. My time is really flying. Number 8. A man who doesn't know how to prioritize you. Everyone comes before you. Everyone. His boyfriends, his friends from primary school. Everybody comes before you. You know, he doesn't know how to draw the lines. He can't draw boundaries. You know, if people want things, he can give them. You know, he can give time, he can give money, he can, you know, you are not his priority. You want to spend time with him, and other things want to spend time with him. The choice is easy. He goes with the other things. So you see that in the 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 month, 2 months of the relationship, he is constantly not making time for you, constantly not prioritizing you, constantly looking over you, constantly. It's a bad sign. It's immaturity. Yeah? And then when he starts explaining what happened, you can see it was other people. Let me tell you the problem with that. If you do not, if this does not correct, you will get married and you find that everything and everybody comes before your family, before your home. Everything and everybody. You know, you make corporate plan together of what we want to do. His mother comes, he jettisons it, he goes for his mother. His sister comes, he jettisons it, he goes for his sister. His friend from primary school comes, he jettisons it, and he goes with his friend from primary school. He constantly prioritizes everything and everybody before. No, you find you will always fight. This can actually create major upheavals in the relationship long term. Number 9, signs of an immature man. Number 9, he never commits. He doesn't want to commit to a marriage. You know, commitment, he is commitment phobic. There's a phobia for commitment. So he can date you for 10 years, but he doesn't want to make a commitment. And you ask why, you know? He just can't get himself to make a commitment because it takes being a man to make a commitment. So there is a child in him that doesn't want to make a commitment. He may be 40 years old. He may be 30 years old. He may be 25, 22, but he can't make a commitment because he's a child. There's a child in him because this is one of the signs of children. They can't make a commitment. They can't make a commitment and stick with it. How can you ask a 6-month-old baby to make a commitment and stick with it? Making ability to make commitment and stick comes with maturity. He doesn't have it. Number 10, he cannot manage money. So he's always broke. He can be working, but you know, he earns the salary on Friday, and by Sunday it's all gone. It's all gone. And then he comes back to you for the rest of the month. Yeah. I once had a guy who was married, but you know, same thing. He cannot, you know, manage money. He gets paid 7,000 rand and he collects it on Friday. By Sunday, it's gone, complete. He can go and buy a watch for 5,000 rand. He hasn't paid school fees for the children. He hasn't paid house rent. He hasn't bought food in the house, and it's gone. This is a sign of immaturity. It's a sign of immaturity. You know, somebody can, you know, have financial struggles. Don't get me wrong. Someone can have financial struggles, and that's different. But someone who just doesn't know how to organize priorities and, you know, make important things, keep them important and face them. That they get money and they just blow it. I used to have a friend who, you know, buys expensive wristwatches. Expensive wristwatches. They can They can get paid now, and they just, there was a fascination, an obsession, that's the word, an obsession with wristwatches. They buy watches they can't afford. He can take his month salary and go and make a lay-by for a watch that he will take 3-4 months to pay for. And you ask, what is it? And yet, you have responsibilities at home, and you're not meeting all those responsibilities, and you are doing other things. All right? So can we wrap it up for tonight? All right? I gave you 10. I want to run through them again. Number 1, he's addicted to video games. Number 2, his mom is on special speed dial. He's the mommy's boy, constantly checks with mommy on every single thing. Number 3, he hates work or cannot, maintain a stable job. He jumps work, jumps jobs, job hopping all the time. Number 4, he's chronically addicted to excusitis. He makes excuses, cannot take responsibility, blames everybody else for everything. Number 5, does not like to talk about his future. And the reason is that he doesn't have any. He can't see 10 years. He can't see 20 years. He doesn't know where he wants to go with his life. Number 6, he's very bad with house chores. He can't do anything. Can't boil water to save his life. Number 7, he throws tantrums each time he cannot have his way. He starts behaving rudely, behaving badly because he can't have his way. Number 8, he prioritizes everybody and everything before you. He doesn't know how to draw boundaries. He can't maintain boundaries with people and things. Number 9, never wants to commit. He's a commitment phobia, commitment phobe. Somebody who's afraid of commitment. He just can't make a commitment. They can be in this relationship for the next 20 years and not make a commitment. If you bring up the subject, he gets angry. He throws tantrums because he fears commitment. Number 10, cannot manage money. Again, it's a priority issue. He cannot draw the lines and know what's important, what is not, what we need to do now, what we can leave tomorrow, overcommit, overspend, and he's just that irresponsible. All right, these are the signs. Now, the more you grow in wisdom, the more you are able to speak these signs when you see them. You pick them when you see them so that you can make some very strategic decisions not to get yourself entangled with someone who is going nowhere. I hope I helped you. Wisdom for Singles, Part 4, Signs of an Immature Man. God bless you. Listen to this. Send it to a sister. Send it to a colleague. Send it to somebody around you who is hanging with an immature man. You have seen the signs, but they can't see it. Send it to them. Send it to somebody who's about to start a relationship. Let them evaluate what they are doing so that they don't get into trouble. No, share this widely, and let's get together next Friday for another edition of Thank God It's Friday. God bless you. Good night. Bye-bye. Enjoy the weekend.
The Single Ladies Bootcamp is a program for single ladies from all ages and backgrounds, run by Pastor Chuks and Toy Nogoye. Many unmarried women are frustrated, either sitting on the singles bench or struggling in difficult relationships. Why the vicious cycle? Are relationships supposed to be frustrating, painful, hurtful, often going nowhere for years? Women start questioning the existence of good men and of love itself. Some even come to the point of giving up on the idea of marriage altogether. The Single Ladies Bootcamp is run over a weekend, and throughout the sessions, ladies are able to explore and learn the principles that govern relationships and biblical standards for relationships. The Single Ladies Bootcamp also teaches how to attract what you are looking for, as well as answering the questions: is there anything wrong with being single? Why do you really want to get married? Why are you not married yet? How do I find a husband? How do I deal with the frustration of waiting to be found? These are all valid questions that single women ask themselves and often break themselves down in trying to answer them. The Single Ladies Bootcamp will answer all those questions and more, giving women a change in perspective, direction, and hope for the future. Pastor Chuks and Toy Nogoye are the lead pastors at Resurrection Life Church, Johannesburg, where they place a strong emphasis on family and relationships. Their expertise on relationships has helped hundreds of singles and couples over the years build strong and lasting relationships and/or fixing broken ones through their Singles Ignition seminars, Single Ladies Bootcamp, marriage seminars, workshops, and conferences. They are the founders of the Power of Woman Academy and the conveners of the annual Power of Woman Conference. Pastor Chooks is the author of the best-selling book, The Amazing Power of Woman. Pastor Chooks and Toyin have been married for over 20 years, and it is their many years of experience in building their own marriage and in third-party marriage interventions that has equipped them with vital wisdom that they put together in these events. For more information, visit www.slbc.co.za or WhatsApp 081 421 0835.